Sally and Alex, so good to have you here. You've dressed the same. Your hair's the same. You both got shell necklaces on. Is this how two broke chicks do it? Like, do you start mirroring each other after a while? What is going on? You even have the same Uber rating. We just talked about Uber ratings and you have the exact same Uber rating. What is happening?
It's not intentional. It's like the ill fates have aligned and drew Al and I together, and we're like so different, but also the same person. It's the most bizarre combo.
Yeah. Our old boss used to just call us the twins from The Shining.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a love language in itself, is like accidentally dressing like your best friend. Like you show up in the same place being like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Now we look like we planned this.
Yeah.
But you also approve. You're
Yeah, we love it.
Oh, we
like
love
your
it.
style, I approve. So how did you two meet?
Do you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So we met, I think, 7 years ago now. It's all a blur at work. So we're both journalists, and that's where, we studied and everything, and we met at work together. I'd already worked there for maybe like 2 years. And then on Al's first day, she was in the kitchen making Vegemite toast. So already a good sign,
Very important.
And she was wearing these really cool like mum jeans that had rips at the back. And I walked in and was just like, oh my God, I love your jeans. And that's how the
That was
friendship
it.
began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have some toast?
Yeah. And can I have a bite? Yeah.
And so from there,
Mhm.
what happened next?
So it just kind of developed from there, but we both had separate work wives, which is a very holy thing. Your work wife is a bigger commitment than your husband in some cases. Some would argue me. And both of our work wives went on holidays at the same time. So we were kind of like, oh, well, let's go get a coffee.
You and me, kid.
Yeah, basically. I was like, well, the pickings are slim. The bottom of the barrel is here. No, just jokes. And anyway, so we just would go for coffee dates together and realized how weirdly similar we were and all the interests we have. Like, we both love Disney movies. We both love like dad rock. We both love like a spicy arrabbiata pasta with like extra olives in it, which we were like, do we need to talk to our parents?
Honestly, like, is this a parent trap situation or what?
Fully. And so anyway, after like, was it a month?
Yeah.
I think we had a matching tattoo. You know how you hear like those horror dating stories of people that like start dating someone and like within a month they're like engaged and have matching tattoos? That was our friendship.
Yeah.
What's your matching tattoo?
It's a rose. It's really unique. And
Okay, as long as it's not one another's names, because that could end up
I would,
messy.
though. I would, yeah.
I'd get Sally tattooed on
Yeah,
me.
same.
But now we've got like 6 matching tattoos or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So presumably another thing you had in common with it, you were both broke.
So we definitely both started as like 2 journalists, entry-level jobs, which I think most people can probably relate to, especially if they started in media. And also when we were both studying in media at uni, all our tutors were like, you will never get a job. Journalism is too hard. You'll never get this. Sal ended up doing a master's.
She's like, oh, just get into more debt. Thank you for
Exactly.
this
I was like, well, I guess
Really?
my only option is to be a scholar.
But no, the name came from like the severe shopping addiction that we both have. That I actually was a shopping journalist, and we both love.
Oh, so self-inflicted brokenness.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so it's like we love to spend money, we love to save money, and it's all kind of that. Plus, we love the show, so
Yeah,
it's like an ode
exactly.
to that.
Like, being a broke chick is more of a lifestyle and a mentality rather than a
financial
literal
status.
status, because we, like, our audience spans a lot of young women, especially in Australia, and they would all have their own financial situations and they would all have different incomes, and we definitely see that with some of the questions that we get, and like the different budgets that people are searching for. So it's more about like getting the most bang for your buck, no matter how much money you earn, and just being conscious of where your money's going. And Al and I also love a good deal. I feel like that's like a foundation of our friendship as well.
So of the two of you, who's the biggest tight ass, if I'm going to frame it another way, the best bargain hunter of the two of you?
I'd say that Al is a really, really good bargain hunter.
But I'm not a tired ass.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
just waiting for that.
Like,
Yeah.
no, but
no,
like,
2 separate
I
things.
will not be like, no, we can't spend money on that because blah, 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 blah. I'll be like, we worked hard. We got up today.
Yeah.
we deserve a little cocktail.
Yeah.
Like, I am an enabler
Okay.
to my core.
Absolutely.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do, like, I get off on a good deal or a good sale, being like,
Mm.
okay, so if I match it with this 20% off promo code, and then I use the shopback cashback, and then I do this and that and this, and
And then I call the customer service and I get
Yeah.
a price match.
I price
do-
match it here, they'll beat it by 5%. Like,
Oh,
that's
okay.
But if I go pick it up, then I can save this. If they deliver
Literally.
it, it'll cost this much. Like, yeah, she's really, really good at that.
Do you have any tips? Because I'm so easily manipulated. I'll see somebody be like, I get an email going, here's a $10 voucher. And I'm like, excellent. I just got $10. I'm going to go spend $300.
Yeah.
Or spend and save. Spend $250, save $40. I had zero intentions of spending anything. And then all of a sudden I've spent several $100s.
Mm-hmm.
Am I just an idiot? Can you help me?
No, you're not an idiot. There are
Okay.
so many tactics that are there to, target impulse shoppers because, one, the feeling we get from buying something, like there's a reason why there's actual shopping addicts. We're two of them.
Mm-hmm. It's unmatched.
Yeah, because the feeling you get, like you do get like a massive dopamine hit when you do make a purchase online. But there are things that brands do to trick you into shopping. One of them is sending you a $10 voucher because the profit margin they're going to get when you spend $300 is a lot more.
Yeah.
Another thing that we do see is like flash sales. It's like 40% off 1 hour only. And it's again that thing that you're like, wait, I didn't actually need anything, but now I'm spending like $400
'Cause I don't wanna miss
shit I
out.
don't need because I feel
Yeah.
like there's this sense of urgency with it. And another one that it will be like having the countdown on the site of like what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
that
works.
you'll see that. It does work. And then the
It's
other
like I'm in a
one-
rush and I don't know why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then the other one is like limited stock or like won't be restocked, and they will be restocking it, and then it's like back by popular demand.
Yeah.
And like people have to run a business. That's what
Yeah.
they're gonna do. And so like I don't think necessarily I don't think anyone should ever be lying, but I think when you're running a business, you're going to be doing marketing, but it's just being aware of those marketing techniques people are going to do so that you can sit with yourself and be like, do I need this pink snakeskin pair of cowboy boots? Probably not.
I say
Maybe
yes.
not. Yeah.
Sounds like you're both enablers. So you've talked a little bit about your listeners and that they're women who have different bank balances. Do you also have men who listen, or is it largely women who love to shop?
Our audience is predominantly women.
Yeah.
Like I think when you look on our Instagram and TikTok insights, it's like 90% women.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our content does align to women. I think with the things that we talk about, like money and shopping and lifestyle, it's really important for us to speak to women because we as women can be in quite different financial situations to men. So, and we're predominantly shopping for different things as well. So I think for us, that's always been our goal. We want to speak to women. We want to help women. We want to make them laugh. We want to make them feel seen and heard, and like we're like two of their besties too. So like that's kind of who we speak to.
Yeah.
But like everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know if
If
they want to even
Yeah,
come. I'm
if
like,
they want
the
to be
lads, you
welcome."
can come. You're welcome.
And it's interesting on your social videos. I had a look at a couple that are super popular and they're quite at the kind of different ends of town. Because one is Kmart boxer shorts from the men's section.
yeah.
And how to dress them with a blazer and make them look fancy, which is, very affordable and accessible to everyone. But then the other one was a Dyson hair wrap. That's quite expensive, and so how do you find the balance between spruiking and trying things, realizing that they could be vastly different budgets required?
Well, I think with both of those examples, they're two trending products, even though
Yeah.
that they both sit at very different ends of the price spectrum. So the boxer shorts was like a trending item that we saw on Pinterest and TikTok and whatnot over the summer. And then we were walking through Kmart and we're like, these basically look like those boxer shorts that everybody is wearing on Pinterest, except that they're $6. Yes, they are actual boxer shorts, but it's the exact same look. So it's showing how you can get that look on a budget, or you don't have to pay $60 for, an item that is the exact same fabric composition and will achieve the exact same look. And then with the Dyson Airwrap, that's been a trending product for so long. And it's something that, because it is, on the higher end of what you would expect to pay for like a hair product.
It's like several $100s, isn't it?
Yeah, but so people want to know if it is
Worth
worth
it,
that
yeah.
bang for buck and we would say that it is. Like, Al loves her Dyson Airwrap so much.
There's also more affordable options. Like we've done like a video on, you know, another hair tool and tested it against that, and that was also amazing. So like,
What's the other hair tool called?
the mermaid hair, it's like a
Okay.
blow dry brush and the
Yeah.
air curl, and so we tested that against a Dyson. And I think at the end of the day, what our goal is to just give the information. It's there. If you want to buy the Dyson Airwrap, here's our experience with it. That's the price. Here's it on sale. Like Black Friday, a lot of our strongest content was about, you know, how to find it on sale because people do really want it. It is a luxury purchase,
Yeah.
but things for us kind of sit within a save, spend or splurge category. So like a Dyson Airwrap, that is a splurge.
Totally.
But the Kmart boxer shorts, that's a save, you
Yeah.
know? So like, and I think that those three categories are reflective of the way that we spend money. So that's kind of how it sits
Yeah.
in our eyes. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to always go and buy a $799 Dyson Airwrap.
Yep.
Yeah.
But people want it.
Is it fair to say, as a millennial and a zillenial, someone on the cusp, our generation is often criticised as being super hyper-consumerist, instant gratification, doing everything for the gram. That's why we're never going to own a home or have any assets. What's your response to potentially feeding into that stereotype?
I think, you know, speaking on the first part, being like, we're never going to own a home because interest rates are incredibly different and salaries are incredibly different. to,
Exactly,
Like 14 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Massive policy differences and failings and all the
that's
rest.
probably the main reason why it's
Yeah.
so hard for, you know, our generation to get into the property market. But I do agree that, you know, there is a lot of shopping content. I don't necessarily think that shopping has changed, just the form has changed. Because like I know, for example, when I was younger, like my mum Saturday, that was the day we go to the shops, you know. I do think we have more access to it and there's more attention to it.
But women were always the big shoppers.
But I also just think women are like, women will be posed to be like shopping addicts or like big shoppers, and then men, it's like, oh, they're savvy or they buy what they need, whereas women buy what they want a lot. Like that's a lot of the narrative that gets put to women when women are shopping.
But I don't think it's necessarily always true. Like even anecdotally, when we think about our dads going to Bunnings and buying a bunch of stuff that they don't need.
Oh, totally. Don't
But
need.
it's just that's seen as like an essential purchase, whereas perhaps like clothes and beauty, which is stereotypically more associated with women's shopping habits, is seen as frivolous.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, women are often doing boring shopping. We're buying the gifts for the in-law you don't really
Exactly.
like. You're doing, you know, like you're buying stuff that you just need. You're not
Yes.
it's not all makeup and high heels. It's the boring stuff because no one else is doing
100%.
it. It's kind of like unpaid labor shopping. Anyway, enough of that little rant. Are you conscious of particularly younger Aussies being more and more concerned about fast fashion, environmental impact, also greenwashing of brands that purport to be economically sustainable and they're not? And how much is that a consideration in the sorts of things you talk about?
Oh my God,
It's a huge consideration,
Yeah.
yeah. In quite a few of our content pillars, we look at brand sustainability scores and ratings. So we typically look at Good On You, which is a resource that has their own methodology that rates brands on their ethical and sustainable practices on like people, planet and animals, and then they average that into a score out of 5. So we will often look at that both when we're, you know, talking about a sale or a product, or even looking at brands to work with as well. Like that is a big component of what we look at. But also Al and I are huge vintage shoppers.
Nice.
Like I would say that the vast majority of our closets are made up of vintage or secondhand pieces.
Okay, what's the difference between vintage and secondhand? Because sometimes I think vintage is just a fancy way of saying it's from the op shop.
I think that
No?
vintage, I think there's different like terminologies for it, but I would say that vintage is at least 20 years old.
Right.
Whereas secondhand could be like maybe you are buying a fast fashion piece from Vinnie's, but it's secondhand. You know, so
it's like repurpose.
yeah, it's extending the lifetime of that piece, which is still, even though you're still buying into fast fashion technically, it's better than it ending up in landfill, you know, like at least the labor and the resources that have been used to make that garment, you know, are going further than if they were to just end up in the bin, which
Yeah.
is awful to think about.
And I think the other thing that we still try to juggle, like we're not necessarily sure with either
Mhm.
is there's two ends of the way that people shop. That if, we do present, a sustainable and a slow fashion brand, you're going to get a higher price point with that. And we will get feedback of this is too expensive from, our audience and our customers. So then if we lower the price and the recommendation or whatever, and we go to the lower end, it is going to be more towards the fast end of the fashion spectrum. So it's like, sometimes we're like, you can't win. There's always, you're going to be sacrificing something. If you're, going for something that's cheaper, it's going to be like that. But if you're going for something, you want to shop slow, you want to shop more sustainably, you are going to have to spend more. Unless, you're going to a Vinnie's or you're doing vintage shopping. But even vintage shopping can be expensive sometimes.
Oh my God, especially these days because it has become such a huge trend. It's definitely more expensive than it was, 5 or 10 years ago. But I think, kind of echoing back to what Al said earlier, that's why in some of our content pillars we have done whole episodes on this. We've done whole content series on this. We highlight small businesses and slow fashion brands and whatnot, but also more affordable options because we're basically saying, here's the information that we've found. Now you can shop in line with your values and your budget because we do understand that everybody's values are different and we do try and provide a balance across the board for our followers.
Apparently we're all meant to have a capsule wardrobe. But I don't know anybody who does. Do you guys have a capsule wardrobe?
I think I've started developing it like now.
Maybe we need to get people up to speed. You'll have a better definition than I do about what a capsule
wardrobe is basically like the ultimate mix and match wardrobe. So it means that you have pieces that you can wear with multiple other pieces. So like a white t-shirt, you can wear that with like a little black skirt, jeans,
a good quality black blazer or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they're things that are very easily mixed and matched. Sal and I have always said though that your capsule wardrobe does not have to be the capsule wardrobe that someone else's. Like it's the pieces that make you feel really good, like in yourself, that make you feel really confident, that make you feel like you have fun. Because I do think, clothes and fashion, that should be fun. You should be excited to put it on. And when, you do put those items on, you're like, ooh, you do have a little pep in your step, you know? So capsule wardrobes are good because it means that you can look at what you need and then mix and match that. And so you can look at what's in your wardrobe and be like, okay, I already have a pair of blue mum jeans. So when there's a sale, you're like, do I need another pair? I've already got that in my wardrobe. Maybe they're, on their way out or they don't fit anymore and you can then swap out that item. But that's kind of the essence of a capsule wardrobe. And it does end up saving you money in the long run.
So you get a few good staple pieces that you can wear a lot of different ways rather than, because there is this pressure to have different outfits on, especially with social media. Or as being in the public eye. You don't even need to be in the public eye. You just need to be on social media. And like, for example, the top I'm wearing, it's like gold. It stands out. I can't wear this. I mean, I can wear it multiple times, but it's easily spotted.
It's all in our heads.
It's terrible, right?
No one cares. Like Sal and I have always said, like, no one cares as much as like you think they do. Like people don't pick up on that. I don't think I've ever thought, oh, I saw her wearing that dress at the last wedding and she's re-wearing it. Like, and if you are thinking that, that's
check yourself. Like that's a weird vibe.
Look inwardly a little bit.
Yeah,
but I don't think anyone does think that.
Yeah,
I think it's just the pressure we put on ourselves to constantly.
Yeah, and also the pressure that society has put on us so that we buy more things.
That's right.
Like we're huge fans of outfit repeating. Like we both have pieces in our wardrobe that we've had for years and years and years, and we still pull them out on the regular.
So let's just say things don't fit you anymore, but they're in good shape, but you don't want them to go to landfill. What do you advise?
So this has been something that Sal and I have been talking about this year as well, because there's been a really lovely open conversation about throwing away your skinny clothes, in quotation marks, and how sometimes we hold on to clothes because we're like, oh, when I look a certain way, I can wear that again. And it's not very good for us to, hold on to these things, because when we see them, they maybe act as a reminder of us being unworthy or not good enough because we can't put on a pair of jeans, which is just the roguest way to think, because, clothes are meant to fit you. You're not meant to fit your clothes. So if, you do have clothes that are hanging in your wardrobe that you don't wear anymore, there are ways that you can dispose of them. Facebook Marketplace is one really good one. Depop is another really good one. Those are like online sites. Depop is like a regulated platform too, so that works through PayPal, and you can go like direct to customers, and it's a little bit more regulated than Facebook Marketplace because there are a couple scams that, you know, run on Facebook Marketplace, but most of the time it's good that you can sell your clothes if they're really in really good condition. If, you know, a lot of people sell clothes on Depop that are like brand new with tags. There's also Vinnies, Salvos, and places you can do that. Also shelters, they're always open to clothes as well. So there's definitely multiple ways that you can repurpose your clothes. Also ask your friends.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
like,
message my
do a
friends all the
clothes swap
time.
with your friends.
And I'm like, I don't wear these anymore. Do you guys want to come over? And one of my friends, she came over and had a suitcase, and she's like, are you sure? And I was like, take it, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yours.
actually a good idea to go kind of treasure hunting in your friends' wardrobes.
Mm.
There is a cost of living crisis. People do still care about fashion and buying things. What are some tips or hacks that you can share if you're not going to go off spending entirely, but you have to cut back significantly?
Mm-hmm. Definitely have that capsule wardrobe and a wish list. So Al and I, you know, will have spreadsheets with lists of things that when we're looking through our wardrobe, you know, going to get dressed for a night out, and I'm like, God, I really just need like a black slip dress. Like that will be the answer to all of my problems, you know, whatever that piece is for you. And so I put it in a spreadsheet so that I know when a sale event comes up, I know that that's what I'm looking for, and I'm not going to get distracted and sideswiped by, you know, the glitz and glam of all the sales that are coming, and I know I'm just going to buy those items that I need.
But that's the thing, shop the sale event.
Yeah.
Like
But I just feel
there's
like
so many.
Exactly. That's why you never need to pay full price ever.
Like there will be, I think when we were looking at our like calendar of sale events this year, I think there was maybe 2 months that there wasn't a sale event on, 2 or 3 around that. Click Frenzy and Black Friday in November are the biggest ones. So if it's not necessarily of dire urgency that you need to buy something, that's when I like do my big ticket items at that time of year. It's also a good time to do Christmas shopping. But if you are wanting to shop and if you are wanting to save money, look for those sale events, use cashback, really try to think about it.
What's cashback?
Cashback is, so there's multiple sites that you can use. We work with Shopback, and they're a cashback service that basically you go on their site, and when you click through their link, you will earn cashback on your shopping. So it's money you're already spending. And you can also do this at grocery stores,
Cafes,
multiple
restaurants.
places. And how it works is, we'll use Shopback as the example, is that they earn affiliate commission from referring you to those brands. And then when they get paid their affiliate commission, they share part of that commission with you. So sometimes they have like upsize cashback offers with like booking.com, for example. Sal and I booked a hotel through there, and it was like 12% cashback. So we earned a further 12% cash back from booking our accommodation just through Shopback, which we were already going to be booking anyway.
Okay, so you sign up, you have some kind of membership.
Yes.
With
You do make an account.
With cashback.
Shopback.
Sorry.
Yes. No, it's okay.
And then you go, oh, they're doing this at this brand or with this service. And then you go there and then they just give you some money back because of the referral. I didn't even know this thing existed. And they do it with
I do try
Coles
to
or
only
whatever?
use it. Yeah, they do have Coles. They've got like Officeworks too. But I do try to use it in the moments when I'm just already spending money. I'm not going to open Shopback to be like, what are the cashback offers?
Yeah, because that's probably what I would do. And I'm like, all of a sudden I've booked an overseas trip. I never realised I was booking.
Yeah, it's more like when you're about to make a purchase, you check, can I get it on sale somewhere? Can I find a discount code? Can I get cash back? Like those are the sorts of steps that we take before we ever make a purchase, because it's just not in our blood to pay full price for anything.
I think we're really, really trying to step away from the habit of being like, oh, it's a sale. I'm going to shop. Like really having the mindset of what do I need?
Exactly, yeah.
I saw an exciting announcement on Instagram. You've added author to your list of achievements, which, to be fair, as journalists, that master's degree didn't go to
exactly. Yeah.
What's your book about?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So it's very, very exciting. We announced it, and it's called Finding Your People, The Ultimate Guide to Friendship, written by, of course, the two best friends, Sal and Al. And yeah, it's all about finding your people and finding those core friendships in adulthood, because we found that, we get a lot of DMs from our listeners and from our followers asking for life advice. And a lot of the time it's about friendships.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because they just listen to you and they're like, these are my besties too.
And I think it's also just really, really hard to find solid friends in your 20s and beyond, like once you've left high school. So a lot of people are asking us, how to make new friends, how to resolve conflict with friends, or is it even worth resolving the conflict,
Yeah,
how to
that's a
let
big
go of a
one.
toxic friendship, how to juggle romantic relationships and friendships, how to maintain friendships with long distance friends. Like, we get so many questions, and a lot of the time, while these questions are very unique to the person who's asking it, really at its core, the question that they're asking is so universal. And a lot of the experiences are things that we've experienced in our own friendship together and with other friends, but also that other people in our lives have experienced as well. And we were like, we wish we had this book for ourselves in our early 20s,
So what did you draw on to write the book? Personal experience, or did you interview people, or a combination?
It's definitely a combination because as much as Sal and I are platonic soulmates, we also have our own individual experiences with friendship. I really struggled in high school with friendships. And then as well, we did a lot of research into, psychological studies and the, science around how many best friends you can actually have. That's all.
How many?
You gotta buy the book bag.
Okay.
There's different answers to that, which we go into. There's the 7 friend theory. There's one that says you can have 50 friendships, which personally I find completely unsustainable. I was we were talking about this the other day, and we were talking about Sal's 30th, and we were laughing about it because Sal was like, yeah, no, it was quite small, and I was like, we filled out a bar. I was like, how many were there? And you're like, 50? And I was like, see, I would not have 50 people to invite.
I was like, I had to make cuts.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, and writing it was really interesting because there's so many experiences outside of, our individual ones too, that was really just nice to learn a bit more about and understand a bit more about and write about it too.
And the virtual world makes friendship really interesting because sometimes, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I might chat to someone on Instagram or even on X or sometimes Facebook if I don't spend much time there, and be like, yeah, babes, blah, blah, blah. And then I see him in a shopping centre and I'm like, don't want to talk. Like those relationships where there's this sense of closeness online, and in real life it's like, no, I don't want to have a coffee. I don't want to have a drink. Do you talk about the impact of online relationships that kind of blur or confuse the real world relationships?
I think social media has been really good for friendships and really bad for friendships because I think it can, with all facets of social media, create this idealistic life that social media is a highlight reel. So you can be sitting at home on a Friday night while the rest of Instagram stories has plans, and it makes you think, am I doing something wrong? Should I be out with a group of friends? If you don't have a group of friends and you're seeing, all these people going to bottomless brunch and you're like, what's wrong with me? And it kind of puts this pressure on, I should have these friendships. I should have this and I don't. Is there something wrong with me? And that's not necessarily the case either. I also do think it opens the opportunity for more conversation and to develop friendships. I went to a Pilates class a year ago and I didn't know what I was doing. And I turned to the chick next to me and I was like, help me, please. And we became just chatty within this class.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I was like, can we be friends? Can I get your Instagram? And that was it.
Yeah.
And then from there we would have little chats on Instagram.
I like that directness. Can we be friends?
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes it's, can I force my friendship on you?
yeah.
And then they're like, and I'm like, I think we get to know her yet.
Do I have, am I allowed to answer honestly?
Yeah. And you know what? There have been times where I can feel the energy back that when I'm talking to someone and they're like, I'm like, do you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
Because not everyone wants to be a friend.
Yeah.
That's okay too. They've got other things going on in their life. They might not have the emotional availability for more friendships.
Yeah, I think from writing this book, we've realized how nuanced it all is, and how friendship really is one of, if not the most important relationship type that you can have in your life. And there are so many different types of experiences with friendship. And we really hope that people, can find a best friend in this book as a companion, if you will.
Or 50 best friends according to one study.
Yeah. Exactly. But, just hopefully can feel less alone and isolated, because I think that from our experience, both just in life, but also with the people who reach out to us people can feel really self-conscious about the status of their friendships.
And loneliness is really growing.
It's a huge thing.
It's not imagined, it's real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the secret to your friendship? Because surely you must piss one another off. Do you fight well? Do you communicate well? Or what is it? Because it's not all roses and,
Yeah.
But
came up boxer shorts.
you really don't like those, do you?
I do. I thought it was hilarious.
They're an acquired taste, I will admit. The comments were a mixed
Yeah, they
reception. But it was funny. But I think the thing that Sal and I say is like, one, we're best friends and we work together. So like there's going to be moments where we disagree and that's okay. There's no like defensiveness there. And if you asked us maybe like, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when we like first met, we're 2 years into our friendships, being like, what's the secret? We'd be like, we're the same person. Like we like the same things. We have the same opinions, blah, 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 blah. We're twins.
We both love olives.
Yeah.
That's it.
At the start, right? And that is still true. We still have the same interests and similarities. However, I think the more we've become friends and we've grown up over the last 7 years, the key is our differences and understanding those differences and not trying to change that. Like we do have things, we know where the other person's boundary is. Like if Sal's like, I don't want to come, I'm not sitting there being like, no, come on, please, like come, it'll be fun, you'll have fun. And she's getting annoyed being like, you're not respecting my boundaries. Like we just know where that is. And I think we've only ever had like probably one big fight.
Yeah,
and
which we cover in the book.
Drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were like, and it lasted 12 hours because we went home, we woke up, we called each other, cried, and was like, I'm sorry too. And then went and met up and had a really open and honest conversation. Yeah. And then it was squashed. That's the other thing. Like you can't like hold grudges. If someone annoys you, you've got to talk about it then. Yeah. And you can't just be like, you can't hold on to it then like 6 months later being like, yeah, but when you did this.
Yeah. Or sweep it under the rug.
And then let it build up.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I think that fight in quotation marks or that disagreement, set us up for success so much, especially because this was like pretty early in the grand scheme of things in us like working together on Two Broke Chicks, I guess, as well. So I think that one experience really taught us that we need to be open with each other all the time and do regular check-ins with each other and just be as empathetic and as open with each other so that it doesn't boil up into something that could be negative on the friendship. Because, we always say that, conflict doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Lean into your differences, but essentially still rock up dressed exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Two Broke Chicks.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's
Love your
us.
story. Can't wait to get my hands on the book. Where can we get it?
In a good bookstore. That's like the marketing line. But you can look on Booktopia, Amazon, Dimmicks. I think it's all live on now. A couple others like The Nile I saw as I've been profusely Googling it. For the past 24 hours being like, ew. I just like looking at it on the website. It just makes me happy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so you can get the book on Dimmicks, Amazon or Booktopia or check us out at Two Broke Chicks on Instagram, TikTok and Poddy.
That is it for this episode of The Weekend Briefing. It's a place where we have the opportunity to get to know the interesting and influential people behind the headlines. We want to hear from you. Make sure you leave a comment below, like and subscribe. Catch you next week.